My name is Jasmine and I am going to guide you through the three-part yogic breathing technique, which focuses around the belly area, around the ribs, and then all the way up to the sternum and the very top of the clavicles. So the clavicles are the collarbone. So we're imagining this breath around these three areas. And to begin with, we'll do each section at a time. There's different ways to practice this particular breathing exercise. Some people start from the chest downwards. I'm going to focus from the belly upwards. So for all breathers, especially beginner breathers, and just all the time, the best thing to do to begin the pranayama practice is to actually lay down, specifically for the three-part yogic breath. And what guides us to the pranayama practice is having a good practice of shavasana. So once we've mastered shavasana, we can move on to the awareness of the breath. So it's about a 10-minute practice in total. So please come to laying down. I've laid a blanket here. The idea is that there's some support for the back of the head. So the forehead is higher than the chin is descending down and the forehead is the highest point. So being comfortable, and some support for the spine as well. And knees can be bent. Yeah, so knees can be bent, or the legs extended out into shavasana. So making the body comfortable as possible. Just let out a gentle sigh to begin with. Bring awareness to the body. So notice how the head is, the spine, and the feet and the legs. All of these laying down practices can be done with the knees bent as well, which is a good way to support the lower back. So being aware of the rhythm of the breath, and the eyes gently close and the lips are softening. And feel the regular breath, or imagine that you can feel the breath. And the breath awareness is around the nostrils. So tune in to the rhythm of the breath in and out through the nostrils. And then placing the hands around the belly. So fingertips around the lower part of the belly, palms spread, elbows out to the side. And tailbone is long. And then be aware of the rhythm of the breath around the belly area. So notice on the inhalation, imagine receiving this inhalation and the belly is expanding. And on the exhalation, releasing, descending, and noticing the hands will move. Perhaps the middle fingers are touching on the inhalation. They'll gently part. And on the exhalation, the hands sink down as the belly releases down. One more time, inhalation. Awareness around the lower belly, gently expanding. And releasing on the exhalation. The breath focuses around the nostrils. Next area is to bring the hands around the ribs. The fingertips around the floating ribs, and being aware of the ribs is around the middle of the torso. Ribs are around the front and the back of the body. You might want to cross the arms or just keep the hands either side of the ribs. Fingertips around the floating ribs, and it will give us the awareness of around the diaphragm. So the inhalation, imagine receiving the inhalation, focusing around the ribs, So we have this natural expansion. Exhalation through the nostrils. Soften the shoulders. Keep things easy. No force, just simple awareness. Inhalation through the nose. And then this exhalation. So we'll have this awareness, or we might notice just the ribs moving. Don't force the movement. And the intercostal muscles gently attached to the ribs are helping with the movement. And then this smooth, long exhalation out through the nostrils. So that's the belly, the awareness around the ribs. Now place the hands below the clavicle, just below the collarbones. So again, crossing the hands or placing the hands just across the chest and elbows soften. Keep it steady, simple awareness of the the breath rather. Aware of the breath around the very upper part of the chest. And then a smoother exhalation through the nostrils. Or just notice how the breath is. Inhalation. This awareness of the chest expanding. And an exhalation. Breathing in through the nostrils. And breathing out. And then release the hands, release the palms. Keep the eyes closed. Try to notice any impact of focusing the awareness on the breath. The idea is that once we can begin to focus on the breath, we're more aware of our sense of self, and it can connect us with our pattern of breath. So we're less in our head and thinking. So just notice how you are feeling. How is the breath? How is the body? How is the mind? So now we'll do the 3-part breathing. What I want you to do is notice the area that was the most challenging. So whether it was around the belly or the ribs or the chest, and place the hands around that particular area. And they all felt okay, but I'll just place my hands on the chest for now. So eyes soft, lips soft. Awareness of the inhalation through the nostrils. And imagine the breath from the lower belly to the top of the belly, and then along the ribs, and then up to the clavicles. So receiving the breath in these 3 parts, and then exhalation through the nostrils, focusing on the belly, the ribs, and the chest. And then inhalation through the nostrils. From the belly area, the inhalation rises along the ribs, along the chest to the clavicles. So keep things steady, soft, and the exhalation out through the nostrils, around the belly, the ribs, and the chest. One more time, the inhalation, receiving the inhalation. Imagine expanding from the belly, the ribs, and the chest. And then a smooth, long exhalation out. And then release the palms, release the hands. So just simple awareness of the breath. Continue with this without placing the hands along the belly or the ribs or the chest, but imagine now the breath rising from the belly, the ribs smoothly to the chest. So this space and this long exhalation out through the nostrils along those three areas. Doesn't matter how it is, just notice this inhalation from the lower belly all the way to the top of the belly and the ribs, the lower ribs to the top of the ribs, and rising all the way up to the collarbones, to the base of the throat. And this longer, smoother exhalation through the nostrils, focusing on those 3 points. Final time, inhalation, belly gently rising steadily along the ribs and along the upper part of the chest to the clavicles, and this exhalation out through the nostrils. No forcing and not overdoing it, just simply guiding the breathing pattern. Stay wherever you are and continue practicing this as often as you are able to. It can be once or even twice a day. Thank you. Namaste.